So, back on the Oldsmobile. So now that we got all this done, that's pretty much it for the outside. Yeah, for better or for worse, I think it's done. The only thing we got left is we got to deal with that great big hole in the firewall. Before we do any of that, I'm going to clean this thing up. And it's going outside, and I'm going to clean this place out. The grinding dust is getting a little deep in here. Looks weird seeing it outside. So back in the shop and back up on the stands. So now we got to deal with the motor sticking through the firewall debacle. You'd think a small block Chevy would fit in a GM car, but not when these guys do it. So this video is just hitting the rewind button and putting all this back exactly the way it was before. I gotta weld the dash back in. I'm not putting it back together. I'm just getting the welding done. Strictly the metalwork. That's it. But before we do any of that, we gotta get that motor out of there. So there's your problem. If they'd have bothered to open up the book that came with the engine, they would know that this is set up as a marine engine. That's why it's got a 5-quart oil pan on it. They give the part number of the 4-quart oil pan if you're putting it in something like, oh, I don't know, a 69 Oldsmobile. But, yeah, guess nobody could bother reading the book. See how tight that is? It's a 1/2-inch wrench. I can't fit between the oil pan and the cross member. Yeah, installed by a certified mechanic. Guess he's never seen a small block Chevy before. And the guy's only in his 50s. Time to get this thing out of here. The transmission is like right up against the floor. So I think what we'll do, I got all the mounts unbolted. If we get rid of the cross member for the transmission, then we can tilt this thing back, which will give us a little more room up there. I mean, all we got to do is just get it up off the mounts, and then we can just kind of wiggle, 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 and then whoop, out she comes. Theoretically. So I'm going to pull this thing out. It looks delicate. Get it out of the way. I'm going to hook my back chains up, get this thing hooked to the crane, and see what we can do. Well, it's out. Didn't go too bad. Yeah, you can see how big that oil pan is. Wow. Well, I'm glad that's done. So, I'm going to give him a call, get this thing out of here, and that's one step closer. Ah, that looks so much better. All we got to do is plug up the holes. And, well, turns out it's a good thing I haven't done a scrap run for a while. There's that piece. There's that piece. And there's that piece. I cut them out with an air chisel, so they're going to be a little bit narrower, but it's a lot easier to add a piece to the edge than it is to make all that brand new. So let's get at it. Well, that looks a whole lot better. Now we got that mess to deal with. So what we got to do now, that's got to get hammered back into place. All those cuts got to get welded up. And then over here, that's got to get pushed back into place. And another little strip across the top. It's kind of folded out front. That gets welded back in. And then this thing, I think, goes like that. Something like that. Pretty close. It's like building a jigsaw puzzle after you threw half the pieces away, but I think I got it figured out. I'm glad I got that piece. Since I am completely out of room right now, I need access to both sides of the car. It's still here. I dragged the little welder out. It welds good. It's flux core, so it makes a god-awful mess, but it's all got to get ground down anyway, so whatever it takes to get this thing done as quick as possible. Well, I'm glad to be done with that. It's like nothing ever happened. That looks better. Back to the way it's supposed to be. So the next project we gotta put all this back together, straighten all that out, and then put the dash back in. Carry on. that's the dash done. Had to make a new brace because threw the other one out. Not going to need that anymore. This is insanity. So all we got left is just a little rust repair. So let's get this thing done. Sling some mud and get this thing in primer. That's going to be a job for another day. So, catch you on the next one. All done. I even put the little tab in. Same as that. Yeah, that'll do. The little welder works good. It's Lincoln they painted blue for Canadian Tire. So, yeah, that's just grab and go. Plug it in, start welding. That's the way I got it. Not a fan of these little spools, but whatever. It's good for what I need it for. It'll weld up exhaust and it'll buzz a hanger back on. Just little stuff like that. It's not really meant for doing this. I got a real welder, but yeah, these things work good. So this is a good representation of this whole project. Hey, I got a great idea. Let's cut this all apart. It'll be awesome. So I got it all apart. Hey, I got a great idea. Let's put it all right back the way it was. It'll be awesome. This was a frustrating job. Glad it's done. So it's finally done. Well, it's outside. I'll do a little walk around to kind of show you everything we did to it. Door handles got changed. So here's the handles we ended up using. They're out of a late 90s Blazer. Problem is, that's the factory setup. Just pushes against that plate. But these work with rods. So I'm trying to figure out how to make this all work. It's not easy. It's all put together with factory parts, so it should last. But there you go. Shaved the drip rails, both sides. We moved the front bumper in 3 inches, which meant the whole entire front end had to be reworked and refit. We had to reshape the fenders, match the bumpers. The molding that used to go around there was replaced with round bar and filled in with metal. The top of the bumper was extended in. It was reshaped, followed the shape of the grille. The hood originally stopped there, and then there was a pot metal extension. Went down, got rid of that, made all that, make it all one piece. The opening in the bumper, we extended it out right to the edge. It lines up with the ridge in the hood. They want to do cold air intake in the corners, so that's what that's for. We added 1/4 inch round bar to make a body line around the edge to match what the factory did around the marker lights. The grille was cut down and modified so the bumper could go underneath and kind of fit the new shape of the opening. The rad support was extended out to make an even line to match the grille. This was all extended out. That was closed in. This was all just reworked. Make it all flow with the new shape we're making. The idea was keep it looking stock, but just smoothed off. It's a lot of work. Make it look like we didn't do anything to it. We shaved the moldings, emblems, marker lights, welded up all the holes, went and smoothed out all the dents. A little bit of rust to fix, not much. The car was in really good shape. And back here, the whole back end of the car was cut off and reshaped. All built around running an LED strip for a taillight. The ends of the bumper we built all across the top. Quarter panels were extended, angled out. Trunk lid had to be all reshaped. All this in here was rebuilt. We had to make a mounting panel for the light. Yeah, whole back of the car was cut off and redesigned. And there you go. 69 Oldsmobile with an LED taillight. Nothing to it. Just don't ask me to do it again.